Hello. Meet the jaw. This curved bone, jaw, or also called mandible. The mandible connects to the skull via a socket in front of your ear hole or the temporal bone in your skull. And the joint of the mandible of the jaw is called temporomandibular joint, and it connects the jaw to this socket. It's cushioned in its movement by a little disc. There is fluid, the synovial fluid in it, and also there is a capsule that stabilizes and strengthens the joint. So the mandible moves on your skull, and today we'll experience also moving the skull on the mandible with the idea of balancing the movement in this joint that can be sometimes very tight. I learned this practice from Linda Tamborello. She's a somatic movement therapist with whom I learned a few years ago. First of all, I'd like to invite you to find your mandible. That's the curved bone here. Follow it upward. I'm going to rest my elbows on the chair, and I invite you to do the same on a table. And at the top of the mandible, in front of your ear, you'll find a space. There's a bit of an indentation. And as you open and close the jaw, you'll feel the movement. And you can envision the mandible moving in the disc of the joint. Maybe feel the difference between the two sides. And then I'd like you to keep your hands there and to start sinking your finger pads into the tissues. And so you'll find the muscles in this area called the masseter. It's one of the strongest muscles for chewing that helps the mandible chew your food. So maybe in circular motions. Be careful and don't be too aggressive, especially if it's sore. I like to go inward too. Maybe for a minute or so. And then you can open your eyes. I should have reminded you to wash your hands before you put your hands on your face these days, any day, but especially now. And we are going to continue by stabilizing the chin or the mandible and moving the skull on the mandible. So the chin stays stable, the skull moves. Then we keep the skull stable. We move the jaw on the skull. You could repeat the two movements one more time. I, for time sake, won't, but you should do it at least twice. And then you put your hands again, finding the mandible and the joint, and you're going to move both bones. You're looking for fluidity, for the bones to share the movement in the joint, the articulating around each other, cogwheeling. That's it for now. I don't know about you, but my face and my mouth feels more relaxed, more spacious. A good thing to do would be now to yawn. A great way to relax the jaw and to renew your whole being. Thank you for joining me today. I'll follow up with other movements for jaw relaxation. Thank you. Have a good day.